Hello again, beautiful people. How are you guys doing? So today I'd like to talk about recent events. Today I'd like to talk about what's been happening in the news lately and how I have been filling up the salt mines. So I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but the Supreme Court has been going ham. Clarence Thomas, based N-word, has been popping off. Let me tell you, dude, he's like, calling in nukes in Twin Towers Town or whatever. He's been going ham, and I am quite pleased. So it might be a radical notion that if you take out a loan, you should have to pay it back, and maybe usury is bad. Maybe the government shouldn't be taking interest on people. Maybe that's possible. I don't know. I am not going to associate any ideas or any people with the idea of usury being bad, or where that could lead, or what type of people might share your opinions on that. But that's an interesting conundrum to go down, and we're not going to explore that just yet, or just here. So, but for those people that are dismayed about, their vote not getting them what they paid for, they voted. What do you mean? They voted for this. They voted so hard and it didn't work. It worked for the boomers, man. They went to the polls and then they hit the buttons, they pressed the levers, they dotted the I's, and they still are just getting cucked for some reason. I don't understand. Like, they, looked him in the eye, they shook his hand, they walked up to the lady, they talked to her at the office, they pulled themselves up by their bootstraps, and it's just not working. I guess they just didn't vote hard enough or something. Who knows? But, maybe the world is different these days. Maybe we live in a different time, and we're going to have to adjust to some new strategies, and maybe just voting isn't going to solve your issues. Just a thought. But if you want to, take a realistic approach, if it's such a big deal for you, just simply don't pay it back. It's like the people that didn't take the clot shot. I'm just not going to take it, or I'm just not going to pay it back. You can embrace the same philosophy of your enemies. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to be a usury hater, if you want to join that crowd, you can go right ahead, Mr. Lefties. But, voting is not going to get you out of this one, even though they might be trying to universally just cram it through anyways. I'm not sure what the administration is doing, what the Orwellian overlords have planned for this, how they're going to make sure that their class that's most likely to be economically successful, a class with the most privilege in the entire country, that is the college graduate class, how they're going to bail them out from their tremendous economic struggles. Thankfully, in the near future, I have a good feeling, a good hope that those people might not be worried about their student loans anymore, but might be worried about actually filling their bellies. They might be looking at their pet chihuahua just like they looked at avocado toast in the current year. Hopefully that comes to pass, and hopefully the world gets what it deserves. Hopefully we're interested in speaking Mandarin in a couple of years. Hopefully we're praising President Xi Jinping, or else, our social credit will go down. Maybe that'll be the future of America, and that's a future I can get behind currently. Because if you haven't seen the decline of the West and of all of our assets and all of our people, I don't know what to tell you. The Marxification of our society has completely destroyed and completely deconstructed everything and everyone. And the Supreme Court has been knocking it out of the park though recently. I'm pretty proud of them. I'm pretty happy. And specifically, I hope they start going after the other Marxist intrusions into our society. There's one big one left, So if we talk about the abortion issue real fast, like, just universally speaking, meat is murder, killing anything is wrong. PETA is right about this issue, sadly. And life is really simple when you think in terms of universal truths, and, at the end of the day, meat might taste good, but that does not justify murder. Just like how you might not have the finances to have a child, but that doesn't mean you get to kill it. If you're describing a child as a parasite, self-defense is a thing, yeah, but I think you're sick, and if you're calling it a parasite, it's also not part of your body, and it's its own independent sentient life, and if it's not hurting you, then you really don't have any excuse to be murdering it. If you're going to survive through the pregnancy, then you certainly should be forced to take it to term, because any and all murder is just simply wrong always. It doesn't matter, if it's an unborn human, if it's a babby cow, or a adulty cow with its lick tongue. I don't care how good it tastes, you shouldn't be allowed to kill it, morally speaking. It's just objectively wrong. And, you can disagree with that. You can be wrong all you want, but it's time to start looking at your life and saying, is this something I can morally accept? Do I want to be in a more perfect harmony with the universe? Do I want to not let Marxists deconstruct life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? Do I want to let Marxists continue to destroy the relationship between man and woman? Which brings me to the next point about what the Supreme Court needs to do. It's time to overturn gay marriage. It's time to remove the rainbow flags from church. It's time to demarxify churches. It's strange how the only two places that promote, well, I can't say it on YouTube, but child abuse, I don't care anymore, I'm just going to say it. The only two places in the world that promote pedophilia are the Catholic Church and the LGBT plus community. Did you know that 20%, that's 1 in every 5 LGBT plus QIA blah 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 associated people, is a convicted sex offender, as in on the registry? It's crazy. Like 20,000, 30,000, depending on the year, children are violated by the pride community. It's crazy. That's an order of magnitude higher than any Catholic priest ever. But yeah, sadly those two places now are marching to the same Marxist drumbeat, and is it any wonder why, really? What a total deconstruction of, the church, and just driving a wedge between men and women, right? And then we wonder why society is so stratified, and why there's such a war between the two genders, and why women brag about trying to make men cry or whatever they do, and how virtually no man is willing to commit to a woman anymore. It's almost like you deconstructed gender. It's almost like you deconstructed religion. It's time to bring us back to tradition. The white on a wedding dress means purity. It does not mean rainbow shenanigans. It's time to, gay marriage didn't even promote gay marriage. Like, not a lot, the percentages for gay marriages didn't even go up. The percentages for people, like, suing churches over not admitting them did. And trying to force the feds into the church. I thought there was supposed to be a separation of church and state, and marriage as it is a religious institution that was subverted by the state, and then subverted by communism again. Just we wonder why religion has been on the decline for so much, and we ignore the fact that it's been overrun, been completely Marxified and destroyed from these outside influences polluting the message and polluting the ideas behind it. I'm not a religious person, but it's the same thing with video games, and the same thing with male spaces that have been perverted, overrun with female attention seekers, Marxists, and other shenanigans. We have to deconstruct the patriarchy, right? Deconstruct the word family, If family is from familia, which is, the man at the head of a bunch of slaves and his wife and children that he has death over, or the power of life and death over. Engels didn't like it, therefore, we have to deconstruct it and rip it apart, apply critical theory, and destroy it all, right? The victory against Marxism is cutting evil off at the root, and that means getting these people out of the country, like deporting all the illegals, deporting all the communists, sending them to China, and then, having our eventual war with the Chinese, in which America loses anyways, because America is too far gone at this point. We have the bloody trans-in-chief trying to run our military. I can't wait to see them all overrun and speaking Chinese, and wondering why their social credit score is at 0 when they're dressed like a woman in a military uniform. I want nothing more than to see American troops paraded down Tiananmen Square. That would be the height of clown world, and I would be honking along. Honk honk, pay back your student hecking loans. But yeah, so that's where the Supreme Court needs to go, and the complete destruction of gay marriages. The only solution we can have, really, to starting to reverse Marxism in this country, and I hope it happens directly after Pride Month. That would be beautiful to me. But Lord knows the world is not that based, and there is no hope for America. We're never going to reverse these things. Even if we did, it's a small stone, a pebble being cast into an ocean of Marxist propaganda. Like BlackRock and all of those other corporations retreating from ESG, all of this is, at the end of the day, even though like Bud Light fiasco, all of these minor victories, they're Pyrrhic at best. Like, we're all spiraling down the drain of Marxism, and there's nothing that's really going to save us at this point, short of, some sort of complete totalitarian revolution in the opposite way, which could potentially undo things, could potentially bring us back from the brink. I don't see it happening. Well, I do see it happening. It's either totalitarian in one direction or the other, but, you know, recent events say there's some hope, but I don't have much faith in America. Like, our media is completely destroyed, like, our music is completely destroyed, our video games are completely destroyed, and now we have to go to the West. I mean, now we have to go to the East to find any semblance of enjoyment. But, you know, there's new frontiers to conquer, new places to go be the boys with, new places to have fun. And going forward, I'm hoping for a complete destruction of America, and I'm hoping to see, you know, Xi Jinping marching through the streets proudly with, like, Biden, you know, kneeling at, wondering where he is. That's my goal for the future, at least. Not because I'm particularly fond of the Chinese, but I'm particularly fond of seeing Americans, you know, being forced to eat their pets and starve. That, I think, would be a fitting end to America and a perfect way in which the country should go. I can't wait. You know, I am so hyped for something like that to happen within my lifetime. It might not. America might spiral down in the drain and just fully deconstruct before the Chinese even get over here. You know, we might not even be worth invading very soon, but at the end of the day, this is the future these communists will have built. This is the inevitable outcome of all of American politics, and I, for one, will laugh. I will mind the salt. You know, just vote a little harder. It'll be fixed. It worked for the boomers, dude. Just keep voting. Like, why didn't the voting solve it? I don't get it. That's what they said. You know, I used to believe those lies, too, that if you did what society expected with you, you would be rewarded. Like, work hard, you know, get a good job, get an education, you know, be a good person. You'll be rewarded by society, won't you? And the reality, that's not how the world exists. Like, affirmative action not only went as well, and affirmative action was absolutely racist, right? But, you know, now that it's gone, I kind of miss it, just because I miss seeing, like, 90% of the black people that are admitted to Harvard failing out within the first year. That's just pure comedy to me. That's just pure honk. You know, having these people that get into God knows how much debt, even with all the scholarships, just to get absolutely nothing out of it. You know, get soured by the whole experience and then wasting, like, an intellectual black life. Oh, peak humor, peak comedy. Like, beautiful, dude. You know, let's kick those minorities while they're down. That's the perfect system. I agree. Let's give them some false hope, like they, you know, belong in Harvard, and then have them flunk out. You know, there are some that actually do, but at the end of the day, realistically speaking, the races have different statistical outcomes. They have different statistical comprehension. You know, they have different statistical physical ability, which is clear in the Olympics and other, like, high-end sports. And, you know, at the end of the day, we as a society suffer because of our racism and our bullshit, and we will continue to suffer for it. And I, again, will miss now that things will be a little bit more equal. Now that, you know, universities will be dominated by Asians, basically, is the end result of this. At least the public ones. The private ones will still, you know, discriminate, and they might start like, imagine the honking we live in now, where Harvard might stop taking government funds just because they want to, you know, have black people flunk out in the first year, en masse. Absolutely honk. But I am glad affirmative action died overall, even if I'm going to miss the entire spectacle of it. You know, it's just perfect for putting on clown makeup. But, you know, I will, at this present point in time, I'm almost of the opinion that I would rather vote just to see what would make the bigger honk, rather than who actually I think would do a better job at this point. Like, I don't know, but I've been having fun salt mining. I've been having fun memeing on all of the poor, you know, avocado toast eating, like, future CEOs that might have to owe 6 figures in debt for, like, 5 years of their life until their careers take off. Poor babbies, poor nepo babies. But yeah, that's enough about a lot. I think we'll stop there before I say something too extreme. You have a good day.